morning to you, comrade Ayodeji Ajisope.
Yes, a beautiful Friday morning, but this one is called a Good Friday.
A Good Friday.
Of course, it's named Good Friday because Easter weekend, and it represents the crucifixion of Jesus. I do hope those who profess, because somebody asked me the other day, said, "Are you a Christian?" I said, "I profess the Christian faith." It is for you to decide whether I look like one. Because those who are first called Christians, they didn't label themselves. They saw that their behavior looked like that of Christ. So those who profess the Christian faith, they must live. You can't live two lives. Your life must either be that of a Christian. Say a good Christian. No, there is no good or bad Christian. You're either a Christian or you are not.
You are not a Christian.
So people who profess the Christian faith must live the Christian life.
Okay. A short sermon there coming from Comrade Ayodeji Ajisope this beautiful Friday morning. Okay, it's from the dailies where we get to take you through the front pages of newspapers this morning. And looking at the papers this morning, I have the Nigerian Tribune, I have the Punch newspaper, the Guardian, and of course the Nation newspaper. Looking at the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, it says presidency defends Tinubu's foreign stay amid criticism over insecurity. And Ryder says president now in London. That's the latest update now. We've always thought the president was still in France, but now there is an update saying that the president is in London and is working remotely from there.
The president can work from anywhere.
Can work from anywhere, definitely.
That's what they say.
Definitely. Okay.
I thought he was elected over to govern Nigeria.
Well, it depends on the motives or the motive for traveling. And they've always made it known to us that he's working from anywhere. So things are moving on.
I think we're just taking for granted. It's not nice. And we're just in front of the president.
In the face of all this incessant killings going on in Benue and Plateau State, a lot of Nigerians have called out at our president, especially one of such is Peter Obi. Atuka Abubakar also said that president should come back home, that Nigerians are dying and you are there.
It's not looking tidy because they were dishonest from the beginning. If they had told us that the president is going on a medical vacation, of course, everybody will know that if it's a medical vacation, you cannot ask him to abort.
But even till now, they've not come out to say he's on medical vacation.
They say it's a working vacation.
It's a working vacation, so they never mention anything like probably he went for treatment or something.
You will know the truth. The Holy Book says.
And the truth will set you free. Okay, moving away from that, CBEX illegal unlicensed digital asset exchange, SEC, and Ryder reps call for urgent crackdown on perpetrators of fraud. Now, power sector got 700 billion naira boost in revenue in 2024. Minister, moving away from that story, Nigerian economy recovering, but LCCI. And another one, military deactivate 42 illegal refineries, nabs 42 oil thefts. Gunmen attack Natasha's family house in Kogi. Investigation has begun. Police, page 10 of the Nigerian Tribune, has that story. WAEC begins 2025 May-June exam with 1.97 million candidates. Page 4 has that story. And the story on Plateau killings is in the news this morning. It is actually on all the papers I have this morning. And the one on the Nigerian Tribune says, CAN attributes continuous killings in Plateau to lack of punishment of perpetrators. Of course, we are going to discuss extensively on the killings in Benue and Plateau State on the program. Looking at the Guardian newspaper this Friday morning, Benue killings attacks are planned, not random occurrences, says David Mack. And still on insecurity, Rep alleges security operatives know Plateau killers. That's a strong one. Rep alleges security operatives know Plateau killers. We will listen to one of such, one of the rep members saying that on the program this morning. AI threat or opportunity? Schools teachers cite concerns, search for academic integrity. That's the comprehensive report on that on the front page of the Guardian newspaper rather. Good Friday, seemingly ceaseless crucifixion of Nigeria. Page 42 of the Guardian has that story. Over 1.9 million students to sit for Nigeria's first digital WAEC. Interesting. Reps caution against fraudsters as SEC denies registering CBEX. Nwoye dumps APC, cites lack of rule of law justice. Presidency replies Atiku Obi says Tinubu remains at work overseas. I think that's also a response to give you the response to what you said. Presidency replies Atiku Obi says Tinubu remains at work overseas. Now, tensions persist in Rivers as Tinubu's emergency rule clocks 1 month. Yeah, 1 month.
Witnessed so much
turbulence, more than the piece that the IBASS was actually sent there to do. He has stepped on many toes. He has caused more problems than ever. Just 2 days ago, women were on the streets of Port Harcourt protesting against IBASS, saying, "Give us SIM. We want SIM. We want SIM. We want SIM." So 1 month has passed.
Just 1 month.
Interesting. 6 months to go. At least the first instance. Okay, moving away from that, looking at the Punch newspaper now. I have this one on Tinubu again. Tinubu working remotely from overseas returns after Easter presidency. Page 29 of the Punch newspaper has that story this Friday morning. FG to clear 2 trillion naira Genco debt by December. Dangote feel pricey despite crude oil crash. S&B Global. And talking politics now, El Rufai deserves fair treatment after supporting Tinubu. Buhari's ex-minister Bayo Shitu. Page 7 of the Punch has that story. Epileptic electricity. FG to inject 1,900 megawatt solar power into grid. And Ryder, government sets 8,000 megawatt power goal by 2027. Taps private sector for grid expansion. Page 2 has that story. Natasha urges police to restore security as gunmen raid home. Page 28. Emergency. Rivers administrator warns mischief makers. Okay. Adeleke Makinde meet over Oyo-Osun border tensions. And this is one story that really caught my attention when it reminds me of this particular song. Who even sang it? I think it was Dele Taiwo that sang it. Juju musician that said, "Iluti you need to change." I mean, you remember the lady that was arrested, Chidima, in connection to the murder of I can't remember the name of his company now. Ataga, yeah, Ataga. And that Unilag student that was arrested and she's been in detention for almost 2 years now, if not more than that. If not more than that. Now, and the lady came out with another. There's a twist to that story now. Looking at the account of the Punch newspaper, murder trial. I found Ataga in pool of blood, says Chidima. This was a lady that already initially admitted to have committed or being an accomplice in the crime, but Eluti will need to change. I suspected. You see, there was a time where this lady took part in beauty pageantry in the prison.
Medium security, or whatever you call it.
The moment I saw it and I saw the video, I was like, this lady seems to be in good hands in that place.
In good hands. I like that.
Because, I mean, looking at the confidence in her, I mean, this is somebody that was catwalking. This was somebody that was meant to be undergoing a murder trial. And now, when I saw this morning, I was like, oh, what is that?
High profile murder.
But now she has changed the narrative now, saying that she met Ataga in the pool of blood.
Let's see how it goes.
Now, Gani Adams, others reject Southwest Sharia panels. Okay, one more newspaper to look at. That says The Nation newspaper. Electricity crisis. Government offers national grid to investors. And another one, First Lady backs women farmers with 698 million naira per state. And Tinubu fully engaged in governance despite being away, says presidency. Page 3 of the Nation newspaper has that story. Let me read it again. Tinubu fully engaged in governance despite being away, says presidency. Now, why Ponzi schemes thrive by experts and the rider greed is chief driver. 1.9 million candidates for maiden CB WAEC. 574 schools disqualified. And let me take two more stories now. Eastern Rail Line likely ready before 2027, says NRCMD. Governors pay condolence visits to Plateau over killings. It's a 9:45 on Solutions 93.9 FM, and it's still from the dailies where we'll be talking about different issues, trending issues on the papers this morning. And let's go to Plateau State, where there have been wanton killings and in the past 1 week or thereabout. Many lives have been lost. Before we go further, let's take a listen at the statewide broadcast that the governor of Plateau State, that is Caleb Muftuang, when he addressed the citizens of Plateau State. Let's listen.
My treasured people of Plateau State, I speak to you today not only as your governor, but as a fellow son of Plateau who shares in your anguish and feels the weight of the pain inflicted on our people. We're once again confronted by sorrow as heart-wrenching attacks have taken the lives of innocent citizens in our communities. In the late hours of Sunday, April 13th, the calm of Kimakpa area of Kwal district in Bassa local government area was shattered by violent assaults on Zike village. Innocent men, women, and children were murdered in cold blood. Homes were touched, properties ravaged, and entire families left in agony. These attacks occurred even as we were still mourning the loss of over 50 lives in Bokos. The scale, the frequency, and intent of these atrocities are unmistakable. Let us be clear. This is not random violence. This is not an isolated conflict between farmers and herders. What we are witnessing is a systematic and premeditated campaign, one that seeks to displace, destabilize, and instill terror and fear on our people and communities. The tragic echoes of Dogonahawa, Riom, Barkiladi, Mangu, and the Christmas Eve massacres in Bokos remain vivid. The cycle continues, but it must not endure. Enough is enough.
Governor Caleb Muftuang there, governor of Plateau State, saying enough is enough. Now he said something. You know, on the program yesterday, we talked about this briefly when we were saying that it's more of a conflict between maybe the Fulani herders and the local farmers. But he said now that this is beyond just a conflict. It's like a systematic, a well-planned a project to wipe out a group of people.
Well, he is the governor and he's the chief security officer. If nothing else, he will have intelligence. He will have intelligence from sources other than the DSS and the police. He will have sources of intelligence, credible actionable intelligence. So when he's speaking, we must respect the fact that he's speaking from its position of knowledge. But the challenge is this. If it is beyond hard, we must understand that what this thing ordinarily we call herders and farmers clashes, we make it sound simplistic. That is just farmers and herders. Look,
It's more like a genocide now.
Well, if I want to take something from you, and you are rooted, and you are not just one individual, it will take a systematic approach to get rid of everybody.
But I kept on asking you since the Monday, whenever we talk about this thing, why will a group of people feel so entitled to another man's property, to another man's farmland, that, okay, my cattle must feed on your farmland, whether you like it or not?
It is a matter of survival. Where you are looking at, that's your own perception of it.
Matter of survival
For those, I mean, I'm talking
at
reality.
my own expense.
When
At the expense of the innocent
when you are
farmers.
talking about survival, you don't care at whose expense. You are thinking of your own survival. Look, if you are cornered and you have to fight your way out of that situation, will you be thinking of how many lives will be lost or how many limbs will be broken? If you are cornered. So they think of it as an issue of survival. These people, they say that is their way of life. Even President Muhammadu Buhari as president said that is their way of life, and that you cannot take a man's way of life. I mean, imagine
the way of life of a group of people that is endangering the lives of other people.
I like your deployment of words, endangering, and your liberty ends where my own begins, and mine begins where yours ends. So your liberty cannot encroach on my own liberty that you are entitled to, that I'm equally entitled to under the Constitution. And those who are supposed to protect people, there is this suggestion, and there is this perception. The suggestion is from the perception that they may be compromised.
That brings the question of the fact that, or raises a concern concerning, I said something yesterday, that these herders, these Fulani herders feel untouchable. If they don't feel untouchable, they wouldn't be doing all those things over the years, feeling entitled to another man's property. You want to feed your cow or your cattle at the expense of my farmland that I've toiled for many years, and if you are, and I'm saying no, there are many what do I call it? There are many bushes they can take their cattle to. Must it be on another person's farmland that the person has suffered so many years to toil? I mean, to sow, to do all those kind of things.
Well, the issue is, if we continue to talk about this, we just continue to talk.
Khan came out, the Christian Association of Nigeria said, Khan, according to Nigerian Tribune, Khan attributes continuous killings in Plateau to lack of punishment of perpetrators. None of these Fulani herdsmen has been severely punished.
Well, why would they escape punishment? If a person commits a crime, there is a process. The person will be reported and then will be arrested and prosecuted. You understand? And go through the judicial process. Now, the issue of reporting, arresting, and prosecution, who does it rest with? The police. The police is the primary agency for internal security. And I'm not going to go to Plateau Benue. We have seen cases in Oyo State. There was one man who was said to be the Babasale, or the backbone of
the Fulani
in Oyo State,
yeah.
I think he was arrested after a lot of noise was made. And what happened to him?
What is the end of the case?
What happened to him? You remember that the jailbreaking, Isaiah Bolongo, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it was alleged that the man
was one of those that escaped.
What have we heard about that? But the issue now comes into the way Nigeria is configured. This union is configured. Now, you call me chief security. Look, the governor said it is this, it is that. So what is he going to do? What is he capable of doing? By its location within the federal union that we operate. So I'm chief security officer. I'm elected governor. I'm to govern. And then I have no control over the apparatus of coercion and security. Yes, I have the judiciary. There's the state judiciary. Even the state judiciary is appointments to the state judiciary and removal of judges is subject to National Judicial Commission or whatever they call it, and all of that. So the man will rave and rant, and no result, because he's not in charge, not in control of the prosecution, arresting, investigation, and prosecuting agency.
But talking about the security agency, talking about effecting arrest and all those things, there are insinuations or speculations that there is a compromise on the part of the security forces as regards taming the activities of this Fulani herders. David Mark said it here that these attacks are not just random occurrences, they are well-planned attacks. There was an instance that these killings took place in 3 days consecutively. Now, we said it on Wednesday here that the last one that took place in, Bassa, was very close to a military formation. Now, there is this a man, honorable, representing Bassa Jos North Federal Constituency. He's a member of the House of Reps, and he granted an interview. His name is Honorable David Isama. He actually said, he alleged that security operatives know who these killers are, but they are not going after them. Let's take a listen at that, what Honorable Daniel Isama of Bassa Jos North Federal Constituency had to say. It's still from the Deleys on Solutions 93.9 FM.
But the security agencies knows where these attacks have been coming from. They know the direction of which these attacks have been coming from. I insist, they know the direction of where these attacks have been coming from. We know the people in the community can show them the roots of which this direction, of which these attacks have been coming from. Secondly, or thirdly, yes, there are some communities still occupied. There are places in those areas that you cannot necessarily go. There are farmlands of these locals that they cannot go to do farming this season. They cannot access their farms. Their farms are occupied. There are farms that are still occupied that our people cannot go and do farming. That is land grabbing. They displace the people, dislodge the autochthonous owners from their land and stop them from farming in so many ways. It's happening in Bokos, it's happening in Bassa, it's happening in the Irigwe axis and some other axis. I am saying that the security apparatus or the security outfits, if they talk closely to the people will give them direction on how to go about it. If at all, it's about intelligence. Let me say this clearly. I do not undermine the intelligence of the military in Nigeria or the forces or the paramilitary. I think Nigerian military and the intelligence system is very strong. I do not necessarily believe that they do not know exactly where these people are coming from. I wouldn't know why the situation is abating and the situation is taking too long. That is the question we are all asking. The question we are all asking, and I am also asking, is why is this taking too long to be mitigated? Why is it taking too long for these people to be flushed out of these communities? That is the question we're asking. I don't have the answers, and that's the question we've been asking. And some of these things, I believe the questions are maybe security sensitive, that I wouldn't get direct answers, but I don't want answers necessarily, I want actions.
Right.
Honorable Daniel Isama there, representing Bassa Jos North Federal Constituency, the House of Reps. He said so many things. He said when he visited, after every killings, when he visited those communities, the villagers will point at the direction where those killers went through. And he said it here, we all listened to it, that there are some farmlands that these killers are already occupying now. Why are the security operatives not going after them?
Well, this gentleman, he is a representative. He was apparently elected nothing later than 2023. Of course, while campaigning, he would have had complaints. Look, what did he do? Did he report? Did he, or I mean a formal report? following it up. As a member of the House of Reps, you could follow it up to the IGP. You could follow up with the governor. You could follow, let him give us a record of his actions in terms of the security of his people, because you are their representative. And yes, you might not have executive power, but you are a branch of government. You know, has he done anything on the floor of the House of Reps to raise this issue and with his governor? And what is the feedback he got?
I wanted to say that what his governor couldn't do.
Well, so what? And then
What the chief security officer of the
so
state
what
couldn't
is the
do,
feedback?
couldn't achieve.
What feedback did he get? And what impressions did the feedback create? If the people had been pointing in the direction, so what did he do?
He went on to say many other things. Probably
What did he do?
Let's
Did he
listen.
follow up with the GOC?
Let's listen to some of
Did
the
he
things
follow up
he
with the
said again.
CP, the area commander, the DPO? What feedback did he get?
Let's listen to him again.
Which is Basa local government, did not happen just a day. It happens in 3 days sequence. After the first day, we will expect that the military or the forces should have gone into these places and flushed these people out. By all indication, I'm telling you with empirical evidence that these people do not attack with sticks and knives. They attack with sophisticated weapons. Weapons that maybe I don't even know the kind of caliber they are, but I know they are sophisticated. They are military kind of weapons that no individual should have, that only terrorists and only people who are paramilitary or military should have. They are due for attack. They are due for repellent. They are due to be flushed out in every sense of the word. I am happy that the world is beginning to see that this thing we are shouting about is a reality. But I am sad that people have to die in this number before there's some actions could be taken. I know, like you said, 2 or 3 of these suspects have been arrested. We have heard these incidents of suspects being arrested a couple of times, but we didn't see the end of the justice on these suspects. We needed to see that justice takes its course from the very beginning to the end. This needs to be practically shown so it could cause deterrent, so people could know that the government is really serious about attacking and dealing with this situation, mitigating the situation. I am not exactly at the place where I will show you an exciting face because some 2 people were arrested, because we have shouted and yelled about this thing for a long, long time. I feel like the power from the center needs to do more. I do not believe that this is all they can do. To speak in respect to the military and the police or any paramilitary or military forces and everything, they are doing well. They are doing their best. But I want to think that they are overwhelmed. And if they are not, they need to prove they are not. Because this thing has happened one too many. The Miango people or the Irigwe people in the Miango area of Plateau State have been on these attacks, not just this time. The past 5 years, they never had any space to even do their farming. They have been attacked over and over and again and again. This is ethnic cleansing. This is genocide. This is genocide. We know a particular group of people who are attacking a particular group of people, and you may give it political or religious color if you want, but I don't look at it that way. This thing is like a plain virgin land. It's like between the egg and the chicken, which one comes first? Whatever you want to call it, you call it. You can think it's political, you can think it's religion, but at the end of the day, it's land grabbing, it's ethnic cleansing, it's some certain groups of people that are wiping out other groups of people. And it is happening over the years. It's not the first time. My governor has shouted about this thing. He spoke about this thing over and over again. He chose his words this last time and called it genocide. It is. Because how many people do you have to kill for it to become genocide? These people in question have been killed a lot of times. The Biron people, down to the Bokos area of Plateau State, down to even Kompan and some part of Wase. These people are going everywhere. They are running riots. It's like a free harvest land for them. And this is the season they do it, because our people are agrarian. This is time for farming, and they start attacking the villages. This is going to be a big problem to the nation at large if something is not done drastically coming from the center.
Honorable Daniel Isama there of the Bassa Jos Federal Constituency, speaking a lot on issues on ground in Plateau State. And I remember there was a time when the governor visited the Bassa community earlier this week. He made a statement which I held on to. He said the villagers must be ready to protect themselves. Is the governor indirectly saying that he is losing confidence in the security agencies, urging the people to defend themselves against these attackers?
Don't they have a right of self-defense?
I'm just asking.
Under the law.
I'm just asking.
Under
the
law.
For a governor to say that to his people, you people defend yourselves, that means he's overwhelmed and he probably is already losing confidence in the effectiveness. Because like this honorable said, he said the security operatives know where these people are, but they are not going their way.
Yes, you see, don't they have a right to self-defense? I mean, that's constitutionally guaranteed, legally guaranteed. You have a right to defend yourself. If you come under attack, of course, you have a right to self-defense. Now, the issue is this. While the member of the House of Rep was saying all of that, I was just in view of the reality on ground. The so-called farmer-herders clashes, what underpins it? Is a survivor. And it's going to get worse. I can assure you that in the next 5 years, it's going to get worse. And it's going to get so bad that those who hold the levers of government and governance in Nigeria, especially at the federal level, it is either they confront that challenge, or that challenge, just like Ambassador Yemi Farumbi will say, will turn into a force of inertia and propel Nigeria in a direction that they may not intend to propel Nigeria. You see, it's not as if our leaders or those who purport to lead us, it's not as if they do not know the fault lines, but the courage to address these issues. And the only thing, people talk about political will.
Even with many people losing their lives at it.
You see,
they are yet to have courage to address this situation.
Expediency.
How many people, how many Nigerians must die before the government has the courage to tackle this?
Well, in
the last 2 weeks, we've had almost about 120 humans, infants, killed.
You see, the issue is that of political will and expediency. It is out there. An American president said, politicians think of the next election, and a leader thinks of the next generation. What are the people who purport to lead us? What are they thinking about? The next election, expediency, which will require political expediency, or is it the next generation?
Now, this one thing killing, is it not going to have an adverse effect on food supply?
Oh, seriously? It's already not going to have, it's already having.
Because I'm looking at the
front page. Benue Plateau,
I'm looking
basket.
At the front page of the Vanguard newspaper now. There's a story on that. How bandits, killer herdsmen have impacted farming food supply.
Not just killer herdsmen, not just banditry. What about insurgency in Benue, in what do you call Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa axis? There's a particular kind of fish that comes from Borno. Now,
there are interesting writers there. Let me read them to you under that caption. Now, how bandits, killer herdsmen have impacted farming's food supply. Okay, and there is this. Let me read the riders now. Benue was hit. Governor Aliya laments state can't feed itself as farmers stay away from farms out of fear. Courageous ones made to pay levies. You can imagine you have to pay this elders levy to work. This is getting.
Do you remember the days of Muhammadu Buhari as president?
Out of hand.
Do you remember the days of Muhammadu Buhari in Borno State? Some farmer, maybe 43 or 53, were killed. And then the presidency issued a statement that when those people went to harvest, they did not consult the military. Have you forgotten?
I remember.
That when they wanted to go and harvest on their farm,
let's call it spade a spade. These are all these pronouncements from our leaders are the things making these elders feel untouchable, that they can always have their way. I mean, any man in his right senses will not feel entitled to another man's property and say, if he's not giving me, I'll kill him. I mean, it is animalistic behavior. Let us call it spade a spade. It's barbaric.
It is barbaric from your own perspective.
Okay, I want your cap, comrade. I want your cap. This beautiful cap you are giving, and you're not letting it go. I'll kill you.
It's a matter of survival.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to you because you are rational and logical. You are logical, you are rational. That's why you say what you are saying. But if I must graze my animals must graze, and then somebody is standing in my way, the only logical thing from my perspective is to uproot anything in my way. That's the only logical thing. That's the logic of the herder. That is your own logic. Because you are rational.
Okay. It's 10 minutes past 10 on Solutions 93.9 FM. It's from the dailies. Let's go to other stories now. Now, going to Rivers State, NBA slams a Rivers administrator over alleged disregard for rule of law.
NBA slams
Rivers administrator, retired Vice Admiral ABASS.
Well, you know NBA and ABASS, or is it administrator? They are engaging in a tango.
Over 300 million naira.
And I think it's you see, like I will repeat it. I think I said it on one Wednesday that a cousin of mine who is a sportsman, he said, the moment you take your eyes off the objective, decadence will set in. And what scares me is the Yoruba word for decadence, idibaje. That one is scary.
But do you think all the actions ABASS is performing over there, all the activities is performing, do you think he's doing it all alone?
What is the mandate of ABASS?
Many people believe that he's not alone. I mean,
what was the mandate given to
his
ABASS?
mandate, according to him, was to restore peace and order and to make peace between the warring factions.
So is it looking? Perception is everything. So from your own perception, from the people's perception, is it looking like ABASS is restoring peace, order?
That's why I'm asking that. Do you feel he's acting all this all alone?
All alone.
Are they all his 100% decisions?
He cannot act alone because he's there. He's an appointee.
So probably he's acting according to the scripts being given to him. So probably we shouldn't put the blame on him too much.
Well, why will a man with honor, why would a man with honor accept such a job?
He said it was a call to duty. That when he felt, because I remember is that the words of his first address to the Rivers people. He said that when he felt he had been off because he has retired. He just recently retired, and he feels it's okay. He wanted to enjoy his retirement, but call of duty came onto him, which he had to oblige.
Nothing bad about that. The duty, yes. But do you think, number one, for him to have accepted such an appointment in a democratic setting, that means he agrees that his appointment is not a breach of the Constitution. You understand? That is because the first thing is, if you have a conscience of your own, you need to ask. you need to ask your lawyers, you understand, before accepting, is this in breach? And even if you don't ask your lawyer, that means the man agrees that that his appointment was not a constitutional breach, and it aligns with his own moral code. You understand? Apparently, the thing aligns with his moral code. Then, after agreeing that this thing aligns with my moral code, what about the mandate itself and the and the breakdown of the mandate? It must have been briefed. It must have been briefed. You understand? It must have been briefed. And if it has been briefed to the effect that this is your mandate.
Maybe the mandate you're talking about is the same thing he was handed over to that is acting out now. There is
an open mandate that they will say go and restore order and peace. And then you will not be told how to.
How to restore peace.
Because
it's been perceived as one side, like we said it yesterday when the women protest.
People are saying he's even dismantling. What's his business with some of these things? You understand? He's dismantling, structures. Should be the other guy had just been sent on suspension. You understand? So why dismantle? He's still the elected governor.
It seems to be dismantling all the structures of Fubara. And one of the ladies carrying placards yesterday on the papers, I saw it saying that IBA has taken instructions from Wike.
Well, those ones who are getting political.
But doesn't it look like it?
Are they a political group if it is a women's group?
Well, I think they call them women, Rivers Women.
You see, everybody has invested in.
And when women go on the street, it's not funny.
Well, the other side too sent out their women.
Did you see the videos that the women tied their arms together, they gagged their mouth, and they were dressed in red, and saying that the Rivers is in chains.
The moment, let me tell you one thing, the moment the administrator instructed that all procurement processes be aborted, I knew that the man had a mandate. Because what that simply means, and he said monies that have been open bid and all of that, he said processes
should be cancelled.
And returned to those. Now, that for me, from my knowledge of governance, is to make sure, because every contract process that has been in place during when Fubara was there,
had been stalled.
They know that most of those jobs will have been going to Fubara's associates and all whatnot. And this is war. In warfare, you don't arm your adversary. So if those processes went on and those people got resources, they will still be arming them. So, what was the business with that? And if you go as fundamental as saying all procurement processes that have been in place stopped, not just stopped, aborted.
Cancelled.
So, for God's sake, that's too.
Okay, it's from the dailies.
That's deep.
It's from the dailies on Solutions 93.9 FM. Let's go on this commercial break. We will be right back.
Law and order are essential goals of good governance in a civilized society. It is illegal and immoral to take the law into our own hands. Why take a life we cannot create? Violence, jungle justice, and mob actions are not solutions. We must stop now. Nothing justifies taking the law into our own hands. We must follow due process, report, hand over suspects to law enforcement agencies. They are established to enforce the law and ensure offenders are held accountable. Our justice system is active and working. The government remains committed in tracking down offenders and ensuring justice is served. Mob violence is never the solution. Stay alert, speak up, uphold the law. We are civilized people in Nigeria. Together, let's stand for peace, for the law and order, and for justice. Say no to mob action and jungle justice.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Dúródọ́lá àwọn àga inú ilé rẹ̀ yìí mà dáa pọ̀ o àfi bíi tàwọn ọlọ́lá ń bò láti rà wọ́n.
méjì òbíòsí níbò Johnson in Nigeria Enterprises ló ti ráwọn fọ́níṣọ̀ tó wuyì tó sì lálòpẹ́.
Johnson A Nigeria Enterprises, ilé ìtajà furniture tó ti mú number 1 yíká alẹ̀ yìí. Gbogbo ẹni tó mọ iye wúrà lórí ọ̀rọ̀ furniture, Johnson A Nigeria Enterprises ni wọ́n ń gbé fún. Bá méjì kọ́, wọ́n mójúlẹ́jà ìdọ́ba ni. Ọ̀kan òjọ̀kan imported furniture tó gbayì tí sọ̀lẹ́dà àfin ọba lóríṣiríṣi ló wà ńlẹ̀. Bó jẹ́ tilé bó jẹ́ tó ọ́fíìsì, àwọn ilé iṣẹ́ ńláńlá, ilé ìtura tó fi máa wọ́n ọ́fíìsì ìjọba. Ọ̀dọ̀ Johnson A Nigeria Enterprises ni wọ́n ti ń kó furniture wọn. Tòkè òkun tilẹ̀ yìí ó pọ̀ rẹpẹtẹ. Ẹni tó bá débẹ̀ ló lè sọ. Láfi ní ẹ̀kọ́ sólú ilé ìtajà Johnson A Nigeria Enterprises lónìí ní shop number AA 18-20 Railway Shopping Complex off Alẹ́ṣinlọ́yẹ̀ Market Ìbàdàn, tàbí ẹ̀ka wọn tó wà ní shop number A8-11 Railway Shopping Lines by Alalubosa Junction Ìyágànkù Railway Crossing Ìbàdàn. Fún àlàyé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ ẹ máa pè 0706-225-2649 tàbí 0802-303-0550. Johnson A Nigeria Enterprises, balógun ní furniture nílẹ̀ yìí.
right, glad to have you back after that short commercial break. It's from the Dailies on Solutions 93.9 FM. Now, let's talk about Senator Natasha, who is in the news again this morning. But this is not a so good story coming from her. It's been reported that Natasha's house was attacked by gunmen. Gunmen attack Natasha's family house in Kogi. That's the account of the Nigerian Tribune. And looking at the account of let me see another, if there's any other one that talks about it. Okay, another one, the Vanguard too. Vanguard has said gunmen attack Senator Akpoti Uduaghan's country home, damage property. And Natasha herself is now urging the Nigerian police force to restore our security details that was removed by the Senate weeks ago. What do you make out of this? She's under attack. As our security details all withdrawn.
I don't understand some of these things because ordinarily, our security profiling should ordinarily tell the police that she needs protection. You know, she's a public figure.
Definitely.
She has been, apart from being a senator, she has become more of a public figure because she's engaged in a political conflict. And from what has happened, ordinarily she should be offered police protection. And you know, police, there are all sorts of grades of police. There is a criminal investigation people, CIB, you can get protection from there. You can, you know, the regular police that wear their uniform, the CIB do not wear uniform. And you can get, of course, you know, DSS and all of that. So I do hope that she will get protection.
But let's look at this. She is still a senator, an elected senator that was sworn in on the floor of the Senate. Does the Senate has the right to strip her of her security details as punishment for being suspended? Well,
she got protection. She got that protection on. You know, it's the Senate that I don't even understand it. You give every senator a police orderly. I don't understand it. It's ridiculous. Well, you see, that is how people rate importance. You know, you give out a police orderly. That's how people rate.
But as a senator, she's entitled to having security details.
Why? What for?
I'm just asking.
I don't think so. It wasn't like that.
But that has been the.
You're not a principal officer. Even as a principal officer, what is it? You're not. I mean, no.
But we've seen many Nigerians, ordinary Nigerians. Maybe they just have some money, and you see them in company of being protected by security details.
You can rent police in Nigeria. I make bold to say. There was a day I went to one corporation and I saw, it's not the usual, not even the usual hillocks. The Nigerian police, when they go to United Nations operations, they give them this Land Cruiser utility vehicles. And I saw about 6 of it inside that corporation. I said, what's happening here? Which government official, or is it police commissioner? And I was told that it was the Association of Nigerian Accountants that was engaged in their yearly, activity. I said, And they went and rented about 20 or 30 policemen. I said, okay, what was the purpose of that? I mean, what was the purpose of going about with a motorcade of policemen? Because you're doing your annual, AGM and all of that, 1 week, and you're going from one station to the other in company of police, about 20 policemen. People that are supposed to be engaged protecting us. Apparently, got those ones from the headquarters. You don't get those ones from area command and all of that. They got those ones from the headquarters. You understand? So people just rent police. If I want to go to a party over this weekend, I can go and rent police. I just rent 2 policemen and I rent policemen. They rent NSCDC too. Yes, you rent police, you rent security people. So, but ordinarily, I don't think, except your security profiling says, this one requires police. And it is, you see, protection. Okay, the moment I see police with you, I know you are protected. You understand? But if somebody is there, he's not carrying a gun, he's not wearing one dark glasses,
I know in Nigeria we operate the kind of the American type of style of democracy, right? We operate. But I've seen many congressmen, which we call the senators in America, moving on the streets with no security details. As in mingling with fellow citizens. Riding on the same buses.
Yeah.
With fellows, this is something I see almost every time.
Yeah.
Congressmen, congresswomen, which we call the senators here in America, they move around, they mingle with people with no security details.
The Capitol has its own police. So that is what they should do. They should establish their own police. Not Nigeria police force. The Capitol has its own police. So that is what they should do. They should not be renting Nigeria police and reducing. How many of them? Carrying their bags and opening doors for them.
All right, comrade, one more story before we call it a day on the program this morning. That is talking about this coming from Bayo Shitu. He said, El-Rufai deserves fair treatment after supporting Tinubu. What do you make out of this? And there seems to be this G3 in the APC trying to stop the CPC bloc from tearing off which Nasir El-Rufai belongs to. So Bayo Shitu is saying that El-Rufai deserves a fair treatment after supporting Tinubu.
Bayo Shitu is CPC.
It's CPC, Tokon.
So, and he will forever be grateful to what do you call it?
El-Rufai and
Muhammadu Buhari
yeah.
for giving him that opportunity
to serve as a minister.
So I think it is just in the continuation of that position. So they belong to the same. They belong to the same tendency of the APC. But what I know is that, look at those who said it. Malamitu issued a statement. So those who, and when when Ganduje went to Kaduna to see Buhari, what Buhari said? Buhari said anybody and everybody is free to belong. He talked about freedom of association. You understand? And in fact, you recall that during one particular election, Muhammadu Buhari said people are free to vote for whoever they like.
And when he won, he said it belongs to everybody and
belongs to nobody.
Nobody.
So people will associate, gravitate towards where their interests will be served. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Those who will leave. When I saw, of course, Mesari, Makura, who else? Somebody else was in that group that surprised me. Yes, Adamu Adamu,
yeah.
I was surprised that Adamu Adamu, well, tendency, because Adamu Adamu was a Buhari man. In fact, I asked that they should remove him as a Minister of Education, that he was going to provide them with somebody else, that he wasn't competent in that. Buhari said, no, stay there. A man that confessed that he was incompetent in the position, the way you say that, he was Minister of Education for 8 years. Not that he wasn't a good man necessarily, you understand. But if my competence is not in an area, I can provide you. So people will stay where their interests will be served. Or, definitely, as they will tell us, the interest of their people.
Okay.
Because they always claim the interest of their people.
Okay, Comrade, that's the wrap for today. Thank you very much for being a part of the program, Comrade Ayodeji.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure riding with you and on this platform. Nothing taken for granted.
All right, thank you. So what are your plans for Good Friday? It's going to be a very long weekend.
Yes, a long weekend. Of course, that will roll into Monday. Of course, we know we will be here Monday morning.
Definitely.
By God's grace, we'll be here. And of course, since I profess the Christian faith, I will be celebrating Easter. My wife was telling me, I think a few days ago, she said, since it's going to be a Good Friday, we should not be eating anything. I said, that is Jewish tradition. That is not Christian tradition. I said, don't drag this thing too far.
You shouldn't eat flesh. Right? I've heard of that. The blood.
I said, that is Jewish tradition, not Christian tradition. So people should distinguish between Christian tradition and a Jewish tradition.
Okay, another sermon closing the program today coming from Comrade Ayodeji. Thank you very much once again.
Enjoy your weekend and happy Easter to those who profess the Christian faith.
Okay, that's the wrap. My name is Adi Damola. Laughing. I'll be back again on Monday morning, Easter Monday edition of From the Dailies. Do enjoy the rest of the weekend. Good morning once again.
The views and opinions expressed in this live broadcast are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the editorial policy of Solutions 93.9 FM.
This is the remix, y'all. Juju hip hop, yo. Remix, y'all, bringing us something new to y'all. While it comes in the remedies, yo. Y2K, again it's music, bringing something new to your neighborhood. My make trees in the house, yo Wally, get up the microphone, come on y'all. Wale mama deo. Say what I can hear you. Alo ilo mberede. What you say, come on y'all. Awade. Jiggy. Wale mama deo. Pambolo, Mbokolo, Alakonji Mareo, and it's ten reti made. Now, check it out. One time. Wale mama deo. Y2K, remedies, KYC. Alo ilo mberede. Can you feel it, baby? Can you feel it? Awade. Check it out. Wale mama deo. Y2K, remedies. With the funk, Mr. T, stand guinness of you are up the niggas blue. The nigga that's never be the step of your eater, so you show your niggas all the be the way the step of your eater, Boston now. I'm making a dedication from the city to the top. Bring back this game, let me show you I'm the real top. You're talking the same as it was, so we're gonna get the holic ocean. Never know this holic ocean goes to be the end of war. So what is like it's left for you, confident you for the low. You can only find the one that's singing us off the soca. You can only find the one that's singing us off the